Before you drink another cup of coffee tomorrow morning, I need to show you something that could completely change the way you age. Because according to researchers at Harvard Medical School, one common morning habit practiced by millions of adults over 60 may quietly accelerate inflammation, memory decline, arterial damage, and muscle loss before breakfast is even finished. And the truly disturbing part? Most people believe this habit is healthy. In my 25 years working with older adults, I have watched intelligent, disciplined people unknowingly age their bodies faster every single morning while believing they were doing everything right. Now listen carefully. If you're over the age of 60, your body no longer responds to stress, blood sugar spikes, inflammation, and sleep disruption the same way it did at 30 or even 50. Your recovery systems slow down. Your muscles become more vulnerable. Your brain becomes more sensitive to inflammation, and your arteries become dramatically more fragile. Researchers now call this process inflammaging, a slow-burning internal fire that quietly accelerates almost every major disease associated with aging. Heart disease, Alzheimer's, fatigue, joint pain, loss of balance, loss of independence. But today, I'm going to walk you through the 5 morning habits that doctors wish more seniors understood earlier. And we're counting them down from number 5 to number 1, because number 1 is the habit I personally believe is aging more adults over 65 faster than almost anything else in modern life. And the frightening part? Most people do it within the first 10 minutes of waking up. So stay with me until the end, because the final habit could genuinely add years of strength, clarity, and independence back into your life. But before we begin, I want to ask you something personal. Drop a comment below and tell me your age, and what changes in your body concern you the most right now. Low energy, joint pain, memory problems, poor sleep, brain fog? I read every single comment because your experiences help shape the research and content I bring to this community. All right, let's begin. Number 5, checking your phone immediately after waking, coming in at number 5. And this one shocks almost everyone when I explain what's happening inside the aging brain. Checking your phone immediately after waking up. Now, most people think this is harmless, but researchers at University of California, Los Angeles discovered something deeply concerning about what happens to cortisol, dopamine, and inflammatory signaling when older adults expose themselves to digital stimulation within the first few minutes of waking. The study followed adults between the ages of 58 and 76. Those who immediately checked news, emails, or social media upon waking showed significantly higher morning cortisol levels, elevated heart rate variability disruption, and increased inflammatory stress markers throughout the day. Now let me explain why this matters so much after 60. When you're younger, your nervous system is more resilient. It can handle sudden spikes of stress hormones more efficiently, but after the age of 65, your nervous system becomes less flexible, more reactive, more fragile. Think of it like an old car engine. A brand new engine can rev aggressively without damage, but an older engine needs a slow warm-up. Your brain works the same way. When you immediately flood your brain with notifications, headlines, conflict, emails, and stimulation, your body interprets it as danger, and your stress hormones surge before your body has even stabilized from sleep. Researchers now believe this contributes directly to chronic inflammation, elevated blood pressure, poor glucose control, and even accelerated cognitive decline. And here's the tragic part. Most seniors begin their day in a state of neurological stress before their feet even touch the floor. I had a patient named Carol, 72 years old, retired accountant from Phoenix, Arizona. She told me she woke every morning already anxious and exhausted. The first thing she reached for was her phone. News alerts, family texts, emails, market updates. Within minutes, her nervous system was in overdrive. We made one simple change. For 30 days, she avoided all screens for the first 45 minutes after waking. Instead, she sat near sunlight, drank water, stretched gently, and walked outside for 10 minutes. At her follow-up visit, her blood pressure had improved, her sleep quality improved, and she told me something I'll never forget. "Doctor, mornings finally feel peaceful again." That matters, because peace lowers inflammation. Now here's the optimization tip. Instead of checking your phone immediately, expose your eyes to natural morning sunlight within the first 15 minutes of waking. Researchers at Stanford University found this helps regulate circadian rhythm hormones, improves nighttime melatonin production, and reduces inflammatory stress signaling. And for synergy, pair morning sunlight with gentle movement. Even a 5-minute walk dramatically improves glucose metabolism and circulation. Which brings us to number 4, and this next one may be the most common mistake older adults make at breakfast. Number 4, eating a high-sugar breakfast. Most people think cereal, toast, fruit juice, or flavored yogurt is a harmless breakfast. But after the age of 60, your body processes sugar completely differently. Researchers at Mayo Clinic found that older adults experience significantly larger blood sugar spikes after high-carbohydrate breakfast compared to younger adults. And those spikes trigger something called glycation. Now, this is critically important. Glycation occurs when excess sugar molecules attach themselves to proteins in your body, including collagen, blood vessels, nerve tissue, and even brain cells. Think of it like rust forming inside the body. Researchers now believe glycation accelerates aging at the cellular level. It stiffens arteries, damages joints, accelerates wrinkles, and dramatically increases inflammation. But here's the truly dangerous part. After 65, your muscles become more insulin resistant, which means your body struggles to move sugar out of the bloodstream efficiently. So the same breakfast you tolerated at 40 becomes metabolically damaging at 70. I want you to imagine your bloodstream like a river. When glucose stays stable, the river flows smoothly. But repeated sugar spikes turn that river turbulent, violent, inflammatory, damaging. Researchers at Johns Hopkins University found that repeated morning glucose spikes were strongly associated with faster cognitive decline in older adults. And most people never connect breakfast to memory problems. Now let me tell you about Frank, a 69-year-old retired mechanic from Ohio. Frank's breakfast every morning was orange juice, toast, and cereal. By 11 a.m., he felt exhausted, foggy, hungry again. His fasting glucose was creeping upward every year. We changed just one thing: protein first, eggs, Greek yogurt, nuts, fiber. Within weeks, his energy stabilized dramatically, and his afternoon fatigue disappeared. Now here's the optimization secret most people don't know. Eating protein first in the morning dramatically reduces glucose spikes later in the day. Researchers call this the second meal effect, and it becomes incredibly important after 60. For synergy, pair protein with fiber, because fiber slows glucose absorption and feeds the gut bacteria that regulate inflammation. Excellent examples include eggs with spinach, Greek yogurt with blueberries, oatmeal with chia seeds and walnuts. And speaking of blueberries, number 3 involves a morning habit silently damaging the aging brain. Number 3, skipping morning hydration, 10 Diao 1430. Now this one sounds almost too simple, but what researchers discovered about dehydration in older adults genuinely stunned me. After the age of 60, your thirst sensation weakens dramatically, meaning your body often becomes dehydrated before you even feel thirsty. Researchers at Tufts University found that mild dehydration in older adults significantly increased inflammatory markers, reduced memory performance, and impaired balance, even mild dehydration. Now let me explain why this becomes dangerous with aging. Your body is approximately 60% water, but after 65, total body water declines naturally. Your kidneys become less efficient, your circulation slows, and your cells become more vulnerable to oxidative stress. Think of water like lubrication for the entire body. Your joints need it, your brain needs it, your arteries need it. Even your mitochondria, the tiny energy factories inside your cells, rely heavily on proper hydration. Without enough water, inflammation rises rapidly. Blood becomes thicker, circulation becomes sluggish, and fatigue increases dramatically. But here's the shocking part. Many seniors begin their day dehydrated because they avoid drinking water before bed to reduce nighttime urination. So they wake already physiologically stressed, and then instead of water, they drink coffee immediately, which further increases fluid loss. Now I want to be clear. Coffee itself is not the villain. The timing is the issue. Starting the day dehydrated places enormous strain on the aging cardiovascular system. I had a patient named Linda, 77 years old, sharp woman, very active. But every morning she felt dizzy standing up, brain fog, low energy. We discovered she was drinking less than 3 glasses of water daily, After increasing hydration strategically throughout the morning, her dizziness improved within 2 weeks. Her headaches disappeared, and her energy returned. Now here's the optimization strategy. Drink 16 to 24 ounces of water within the first 30 minutes of waking, and add a tiny pinch of mineral salt or squeeze of lemon. Why? Because sodium and potassium help your cells retain hydration more effectively. For synergy, pair hydration with morning movement. Hydration improves circulation. Movement helps distribute oxygen and nutrients throughout the body. Together, they dramatically improve energy and reduce inflammatory stress. Now, number 2, this next habit may be one of the most overlooked accelerators of aging after 65, and almost nobody talks about it. Number 2, sitting too long in the morning. Researchers at Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health discovered that prolonged sitting in older adults rapidly suppresses enzymes involved in fat metabolism and glucose control. And the effect begins shockingly fast, within 30 to 60 minutes. Now here's why this becomes catastrophic after 60. As we age, we naturally lose muscle mass. This process is called sarcopenia. And muscle is not just about strength. Muscle acts like a metabolic organ. It regulates blood sugar, inflammation, hormones, even brain health. But when you sit for long periods first thing in the morning, your muscles remain metabolically inactive. Glucose disposal worsens, circulation slows, inflammatory compounds begin accumulating, and over time, this contributes directly to weakness, balance issues, insulin resistance, and frailty. Researchers now believe prolonged inactivity may age the body almost as aggressively as poor nutrition. And the scary part? Many retired adults unknowingly become far more sedentary than they realize. I remember a patient named George, 80 years old, wonderful man, but after retirement, his mornings became almost entirely sedentary. Coffee, television, newspaper, chair. Hours passed before meaningful movement occurred. Within 3 years, his balance deteriorated dramatically. His walking speed slowed, and he began losing confidence physically. We implemented what I call movement snacks. 5 minutes of movement every half hour. Simple walking, chair squats, gentle stretching, nothing extreme. 6 months later, his gait improved noticeably. His energy improved. And most importantly, his confidence returned. Because movement preserves independence. Now here's the fascinating biological reason. When muscles contract, they release compounds called myokines. These are anti-inflammatory signaling molecules. Exercise literally creates anti-inflammatory medicine inside your body. That's extraordinary. Now for optimization, you do not need intense exercise. In fact, excessive exercise after 65 can sometimes increase inflammation if recovery is poor. The goal is consistency. Gentle walking after breakfast is one of the most powerful longevity habits ever studied. And for synergy, pair movement with protein intake. Protein stimulates muscle repair. Movement improves muscle sensitivity. Together, they protect against sarcopenia far more effectively than either alone. And now, number 1. The morning habit silently accelerating aging in millions of adults over 60. Number 1. Waking up in chronic stress. This may be the most destructive habit of all, and the frightening part, many people don't even realize they're doing it. Waking up immediately overwhelmed by stress, fear, urgency, anxiety, mental overload. Researchers at Cleveland Clinic found that chronic psychological stress significantly increases systemic inflammation, accelerates immune aging, and raises the risk of cardiovascular disease and cognitive decline. Now listen carefully. Your body cannot distinguish between physical danger and emotional danger. The same inflammatory pathways activate whether you're being chased by a predator or lying in bed worrying about finances, illness, family problems, or the future. And after 60, this matters enormously because your stress recovery systems weaken. Cortisol stays elevated longer, inflammatory signaling becomes amplified, sleep quality worsens, and healing slows dramatically. Think of chronic stress like leaving your engine running all night long. Eventually, parts begin breaking down. Your body works the same way. I have seen patients improve their inflammation markers more from reducing stress than from changing medications. That is how powerful this is. I remember Eleanor, 74 years old, widowed, living alone. Every morning began with worry. Her body never truly relaxed. Her blood pressure remained elevated despite medication. Her sleep deteriorated, and her inflammation markers kept rising. We introduced something incredibly simple: 10 minutes every morning of quiet breathing, sunlight exposure, gratitude journaling, and gentle stretching before engaging with the world. 3 months later, her blood pressure improved noticeably. Her sleep improved. But most importantly, she said she finally felt emotionally alive again. Now here's the science. Slow breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, your body's repair mode. This lowers inflammatory signaling, improves digestion, stabilizes heart rhythm, and calms the aging brain. And here's the optimization strategy I recommend to nearly every patient over 65. Create what I call a healing morning sequence: before phones, before news, before stress. Do these 5 things: water, sunlight, deep breathing, gentle movement, protein-rich breakfast. That combination regulates inflammation, stabilizes blood sugar, supports the brain, improves circulation, and protects muscle function simultaneously. It is one of the most powerful anti-aging routines I know. Now, I want to say something directly to you. Aging is not simply about the number of birthdays you've had, it's about what your body experiences every single day. And the beautiful truth is this: small habits repeated consistently become biology. Your morning routine is not just a schedule, it is a signal to your body, a signal of stress, or healing, decline, or resilience, inflammation, or recovery. You do not need perfection. You do not need extreme diets. You do not need to become a different person overnight. You simply need small, consistent actions that tell your body it is safe to heal, and it is never too late. I have seen people in their 70s and 80s regain energy, mobility, mental clarity, and joy simply because they finally understood what their body needed. You deserve that too. You deserve strength. You deserve clarity. You deserve independence. And you deserve to feel good in your body again. If this video helped you today, subscribe to the channel and join our growing community focused on aging powerfully, naturally, and intelligently. And now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these morning habits surprised you the most? And which one are you going to change first? Drop a comment below because your story may help someone else feel less alone.